Hey guys, I thought this background is way too epic to not shoot a video here. So this is at the financial district in Shanghai. A couple of China bulls in the background on parade. And so what I'm going to talk about, well, let's improvise here. I think, of course, let's talk about NIO, right? Topic, is NIO in another transitional period here? And what kind of transition could that be? Well, for one, NIO just has ended one very important transition, right? And it took a lot of pain. It wasn't easy. We still don't know if it's successful or not. And that transition, of course, was about the topic of a technology platform, going from NT 1.0 to NT 2.0, upgrading not only production, but also the whole technology set around how NIO cars are produced. And the pain that it caused was about margins down, getting the old cars to be sold off of the parking field, you know, with the still empty, still left over capacity that they had, and that sort of thing. But that's now over, right? We can finally, we'll hopefully see the benefits and the rewards of that coming out in the next couple of quarters. And of course, one of the hope is that this will lead us to easier production, higher capacity, better margins, and ultimately, of course, if you think about a consumer, better products in the hands of the consumer, less faults, better quality, latest technology, chips, the latest designs and so on. You all get it, right? Now, what could be the new transition that NIO is going through? I would say it's more on the company level, but ultimately it also has a little bit to do again with the production and manufacturing. But it's more about the financials, and this time it's about transitioning from, let's say, not having margins at the focus to trying to squeeze out the last bit of profit that this platform can deliver. And what I mean by that is that, of course, NIO has announced that they are going to create a couple of new platforms, sub-brands, right? And I think with that we may see a new mindset of NIO, which before that was rather about positioning itself in the premium to luxury market, right? And now there must be more focus also on the margins and the economics of the new models that they are going to do, because frankly, if they try to make the total addressable market larger by going into lower tier price segments and still are aiming for, let's say, 20% margins, which they announced during the last earnings call, that means that's not possible with the current platform. The current platform is more built for, this higher average sales prices, premium positioning and so on. And so this is going to be a new era for NIO now that they have announced that they are trying to enter this lower tier segments. And we also heard already like how they are thinking of doing that. They have announced that they do want to vertically integrate more, or at least, this is one of the misconceptions oftentimes, that NIO isn't vertically integrated. Of course, they're doing lots of the stuff already on their own. So for example, the vehicle platform by 100% owned company called XPT. But what they have announced is that they're also going to do more in the area of battery technology and chip manufacturing that they are going to do in-house. And so that is sort of a more vertically integrated approach regarding those two things. And ultimately it seems, at least that's my feeling that I'm getting from listening to the earnings calls, that it seems the management has the idea that this is necessary in order to reach profitability on a whole company level, and also to reach the margins which they have pointed out. And those cornerstones have been laid out already a couple of months ago. But I think now that it's only maybe less than 1 year until those sub-brands will be launched, this will go into the phase where we'll see the transition happening to that. So I think with the sub-brands, and ultimately maybe also with the next technology platform, NT 3.0, we might see a transition of NIO that is somewhat still rooted also in production and manufacturing, meaning in-housing more components which are self-supplied and self-developed into this technology, and therefore the overall transition will be more on the focus on this, the financials, the unit economics of the cars that they're going to put out. And so this will be an interesting transition again. Maybe this time less of a big step between the platforms itself. There is a very big difference between NT 1.0 platform cars and NT 2.0 platform cars. And maybe that's not that noticeable with, let's say, the next platform, or with those new cars that might be more relying on these own components. But for the company, that might be an even bigger step. And whether or not that step can actually be successful or not, we don't know. Because for now, we don't know the most important factors for it. So for one, we don't know really, can NIO really scale up and start doing their own battery production, and how much can they drive down cost with that, or how much will they struggle to create such a production themselves and drive down cost. And same for the chip part. We do see stuff that they're doing, like with NIO Capital, for example, being invested in Black Sesame, which is now doing an IPO in Hong Kong. But we don't really know yet, what kind of chips they are going to replace and how, and what structural benefits it will bring to NIO. But with all of the signs from the earnings call, as well as from the, what you can see that they're doing, for example, creating new factories for the sub-brands, investing in these companies that I just mentioned and technologies that I just mentioned, we do see that this will be the next step. And so this is possibly the thing to watch for NIO in the next couple of months, because now the transition on the platform for the models has been done, but this is what NIO gets ultimately onto the next level on a company stage, meaning that if they manage 2024 or towards 2025 to break even, which is obviously a black box, we don't know if that's going to work or not, but if that's the case, that will ultimately really put NIO into a totally new position, that they can start investing on their own terms in a more free way, with all of the free cash flow which they would be generating. So that's, I think, where this necessity comes from, that they are doing this other next transition for the sub-brands models and for the NT 2.3, NT 3.0 platform. And where I'm hoping that we get some more news quite soon, that we can judge for ourselves a little bit on how well this is going or not. So that's it, a quick update on the next transition for NIO to watch. Thanks for watching, and see you in my next video.